This is Kerrace Alexander with DeepTruth Media. Awareness, deconstructing consciousness. Who would ever dare to do such a thing? Deconstruct consciousness. But it is a possibility and a probability within this unlimited possibilities and probabilities within this system of consciousness that is accessible. And I am wired to do so. That is, deconstruct consciousness. So the consciousness is tricking and deceiving someone through knowledge. Imagine that you're being tricked and deceived through knowledge. That's the higher order as we deconstruct consciousness, as we deconstruct the word consciousness. That is, look up the word con, look up the word shus, and look up the word ness, and you will find that it is the quality and state of tricking and deceiving someone through knowledge. That is the higher order of that word consciousness. And you may be saying to yourself, well, Kerrace, why would they use a word consciousness in all their intellectual systems to denote that which we are? And then there's a higher meaning to mean tricking and deceiving someone through knowledge, because consciousness, like many words, has a spell on it. And I'm just here to give you the higher order of what is transpiring on this physical plane. So what did you feel like when I described in our last audio about your soul blueprint? You do not have a soul. You are not a soul. That your essence as awareness is simply captured in your individuated soul. And it is the soul animates and has this experience in the physical world. But it is really, all it is doing is mirroring your essence as awareness. So whenever anyone says that you are a soul having this experience, it's not that they are trying to deceive you. It's just that they don't know the deeper meaning of what's transpiring. You know, I've often said many things in the past, believing that what I was sharing was the truth at that particular time. That is the nature of awareness as it tries to know itself in physical form. We're a lot of know-it-alls here. We become caught or mesmerized even by our own convictions of what we believe. And we have to understand that things can morph and change over time, but you are not a soul. That will never change. And so as you come to know self as awareness and you experience self as awareness outside of this universe, outside of this galaxy, outside of this solar system, outside of the earth plane, it becomes pretty simple to understand the inner workings of this system of consciousness as you dismantle the womb off of you. It becomes so simple to see the system. However, when you are immersed in the system, believing that the mind and body are one, and that you are all the characters that you play, and that you are the personality that you play within this system of consciousness, and that you are so immersed in your story, then you will find it challenging to comprehend any of this. But I guarantee you that in time, in a very short time, people will be so sick of this system of consciousness and what's transpiring on the physical world plane that their eyes will open to an extent that they will just be blown away. And they will seek out information such as awareness, deconstructing consciousness. I want to know the deeper truths, because this system is a finite system. It cannot exist any longer under the current trajectory that it's operating under. It's dismantling. Awareness is seeping through. Awareness is all-knowing and wise and is experiencing more of itself in physical form. And so this whole concept of the soul, again, do not be deceived by others who may be saying that you are a soul, having an experience, that you are here to learn and grow yourself. That is further from the truth. You have been captured in this concept of a soul as awareness, and you are living under a programmed reality. That program that you are operating under is your individuated soul blueprint. I've done enough astrology readings to know how people are programmed, and you have to ask yourself, well, the universal architects would need to design something in order to capture awareness, because awareness is no thing. How can you take no thing and create something? You'd have to create an environment in which it could be captured. And so awareness has been captured into this universe through the soul blueprint, and that's how the individuated souls experience and animate through the biological vehicle using the mind, the thought process. And so the soul, again, contains all your genetic coding, all your ancestral coding. And then it is imprinted once you're here on this physical plane. Imagine that. And then you live out your existence here on this physical plane through your soul blueprint, through the program, your individuated program, your soul, with all the impositions and all the negativity and all the traumas and the imprinting from your parents and your ancestral imprinting and your genetic coding. There's really a lot to keep you here. There's a lot to overcome. But once you overcome the program, once you overcome the system of consciousness, you get to mold and shape it into whatever you want. So I want to direct you to a couple of audios that I've done the past week. Gaia, Sophia, Dreaming. We did a whole segment on abundant and current and currency. I was on the show for about an hour. There's a link in the description. You can check that out. And I also did a interview with Cosmic Copia Cafe with Adio and Dove. Dove asked me some wonderful questions regarding this whole area of deconstructing consciousness. And so I'll put the link there as well. If you haven't listened to that, I did mention in a couple audios prior to this one. So you can have a listen and see the different perspectives that individuals are asking about this deconstructing of consciousness. So we're engaging in this experiment together. I'm going to expand this experiment. I'm going to be putting a call out to those who want to experience more of what I'm going to be sharing in this post. Awareness, deconstructing consciousness, genetic transcendence of your environment through the speed of light. And I'll post the link to this article in the description as well. But what we need to be doing, or what I'm being called to do, is to take this to another platform and engage with those who want to engage with me on a higher level and really interact with the system of consciousness as we deconstruct it in real time. That is, I will be sharing some of the techniques that I've been using myself in order to deconstruct consciousness and create a virtual reality matrix on my own. And I want to take this experiment and see how it works with others. So it sounds pretty exciting to me. And I hope it will be exciting for some of you who want to participate in the experiment. There are many who believe that if I think happy thoughts and ignore the negative stuff, everything will be alright. In all honesty, positive thinking never really works. Many so-called positive thinkers have felt negative most of their life, and now they are trying to think positively. They are in a polarized state in which they are trying to think in one way in order to override how they feel inside of them, which happens for so many. They consciously think one way, but they are being the opposite. When the mind and the body are in opposition, change will never happen. So this was happening a lot for me. Even though I was in the heart space, had transcended the mind and was living in the heart space, I was still having negative thoughts. And I was still immersed in this negativity, which I'm not anymore. But now that I can see that even though I had moved into the heart 4 years ago, I was still carrying a lot of negativity. And so even though I was thinking positively, I was carrying this negativity. I was immersed in it because it's part of my reality for most of my life. But I've transitioned out of that. So I wanted to share this piece with you because these are some very important nuggets that I hope you will grasp so I can support you to transcend the system of consciousness. But again, what I share here is just a sharing. What I really am enthused about doing and what I do with my clients is do that core theme work, and I do it at a distance, and I do it in person. It's a very gentle process, so if you want to learn more about that, contact me. Anyway, if you have been devoted to feeling negatively for years, these feelings have created an automatic state of being. Your body is conditioned to be negative, and most of us are conditioned to be negative in this system. 90% of what we experience in this third-dimensional system is negativity by design, because the power control force must keep us in a low vibratory frequency in order to maintain control over your awareness. And so we are immersed in negativity. That's the imposition on awareness. Again, awareness doesn't experience any negativity. When you experience the totality and the glory of who and what you are, the concepts of negativity is not even part of awareness. So it's an imposition on that which you are. The conscious intellectual mind may reason that if it wants joy, but the body has been programmed to feel otherwise for years, it makes true happiness unreachable because mind and body are not working together. The conscious mind wants one thing, but the body wants another. That is the subconscious mind. Key is to get into the subconscious mind and program it with a new state of strategy, a new state of being. You have to deprogram or unwire your old thinking and feeling patterns and then reprogram or rewire your brain with new patterns and thinking and feeling based on who you want to be instead of what you've been conditioned to be in this system of consciousness. That is, your mind and body have conditioned to be through your schooling, through your parents, through your ancestral imprinting, through your negative genetic coding that's been switched on. We want to switch all that negative genetic coding off and switch on the higher vibratory genetic coding so that you can transform into the higher order of that which you are. What we want to do is really embody this conditioned mind and body and create a new mind so that the two minds can no longer work in opposition but must be in harmony. This is the point of change, of self-creation. When I talk about two minds, you have a mind in your brain and you also have a mind in your body. It has expression through the heart. But most don't talk about the mind that's in the heart. They only talk about the mind that's in your brain, the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is a mind that we access through the heart. But they have all these artificial intelligences trying to mirror the mind within your heart so that you don't access your true mind. You don't access your true self as awareness, trying to circumvent any of that. So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, then as creators, most of us are only going in circles. Feelings and emotions are not bad. They are end product of experience. But if we are always reliving the same ones, we can't embrace new experience. Do you know people who seem to talk about the good old days? What they are really saying is nothing new is happening in my life that is stimulating my feelings, therefore I will have to reaffirm myself from some glorious moment in the past. A lot of people like that. You may be like that. So overcoming the reoccurring thoughts and feelings that the body memorizes, that is the subconscious mind, is a must if we are to break the habit of being our current selves. We create emotion by thought alone. We can signal our genes to make new proteins to change our bodies to be ahead of our present environment. That's the opportunity. You can signal new genes in new ways by emotionally and thus chemically altering your internal environment. Our emotions can turn on some gene sequences and turn off others. That is what has been happening within my internal environment. As I've transcended my environment, some genes have now turned off and some new genes have switched on. Just by signaling the body with new emotions, one can alter their internal chemistry to change the expression of their gene. That's the power that you wield. Imagine that. You have the power to switch on and switch off your genes. Wow. Sometimes a change in genetic expression can be sudden and dramatic. Yes, that's what's happening for a lot of people right now as they experience the ascension process. Genes are being switched on, and certain genes are being switched off, and certain genes are being switched on while the other genes are still on, and that's causing a lot of disturbance for people. Causes a lot of distortions and discordance in your life. Your external environment chemically signals genes through the emotions of an experience. Therefore, if the experiences in your life are not changing, the chemical signals to your genes aren't changing. No new information from the outer world is reaching your cells. Can you pick a potential from the quantum field? This system of consciousness, a potential probability or possibility for yourself, and emotionally embrace a future event before the actual experience. And that's what I'm trying to support you to do here. As we come to deconstruct consciousness as awareness, we have the capacity to do that. It's not a pipe dream. It's not some elusive thing that we are just trying to distract ourselves in order to not deal with what's going on in the physical world. No, we are actively participating in the transcendence of this physical reality in order to create a reality of our own choosing and making. That is the opportunity for those who choose to take the opportunity and do so. If you can pick a potential probability for yourself, think of one and emotionally embrace it. Emotionally embrace a future event, the actual experience. Can you do this so many times that you emotionally condition the body to a new mind, thus signaling new genes a new way? That's what's been happening for me. I am actually creating or taking from the field of consciousness, the system of consciousness. I am choosing several probabilities, this consciousness field, and I am molding and shaping these probabilities into the virtual reality matrix that I'm creating. And these are events, future events, that I will actually be experiencing, that I am in the process of experiencing. It's fascinating when we come to understand the deeper truths of how we can reclaim our power and take back our power to create, because this system of consciousness has us so victimized by the system. You know, I was listening to some alternative media yesterday. I tried to listen to it. I couldn't. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to alternative media now. My focus is becoming more and more narrow in the system of consciousness. Anyway, I was listening to something yesterday. I had to turn it off after about 5 minutes. Because in the alternative media, now that I see it from a different perspective, all that's being discussed is how the system is doing this to us and doing that to us. And, you know, all these researchers looking at how they're doing this, third dimensional reality. And while it's sounding like energetically is that they're just researching how this system, this artificial system, this third dimensional system is imposing a program, a reality on us, and everyone's feeling victimized. They're researching how they're being victimized by the system. And they're discussing how they're being victimized by the system. Oh, what the system is doing. Oh, they're perpetrating this law on us. Oh, they're doing this to us. It's this victimization. So when we come to know self as awareness, and the totality of who and what we are, we take back our power to create, and we let the system dismantle itself on its own. We no longer allow ourselves to be victimized by the system. When we truly create the reality in which we want, that's the opportunity. How do we keep certain genes turned on and others turned off? If we stay in the same toxic state of anger, the same melancholy state of depression, the same vigilant state of anxiety, or the same state of unworthiness, the same redundant chemicals keep pushing the same genetic buttons which cause the activation of certain diseases. Stressful emotions pull the genetic trigger, dysregulating the cells and creating disease. When we talk about activating a gene by expressing it in different ways, we often refer to turning on and turning off genes. In reality, genes don't turn off or on. They are activated by chemical signals. They express themselves in specific ways by making various proteins. Just by changing our thoughts, feelings, and emotional relations and behaviors, we send other cells new signals and they express new proteins, changing the genetic blueprint. You know, that soul blueprint. Once a cell is activated in a new way by new information, the cell can create thousands of variations of the same gene. Therefore, we can signal our genes to rewrite our future. And that's what's happening for me. That's why I'm sharing this. This is a higher order of what's happening for me. I'm experiencing this, and so I'm sharing what I experience. Now, bliss and ecstasy actually produce something in your genes as well, and your blood, that is your DNA, which makes you able to stay young. It allows you to innovate into your higher self so that you can experience the higher order of who you are that reflects your awareness in physical form, so that your inner current matches your awareness at the highest frequency available to you in your individuated consciousness soul blueprint, so that you can create instantaneously the reality that reflects your awareness. Knowing about genes and what signals them to be expressed or not is crucial to understanding why you have to change from the inside out. If you lose the skill to create implosion in your body, which is electrically called bliss, your DNA begins to slow down. That's how the aging process happens. Therefore, if you lose access to bliss and passion, it stops braiding your DNA, that is making fire or implosion. Those that lose the skill to make a tornado or vortex in their DNA through the speed of light by using passion or bliss to do it, the DNA slows down and you lose the ability to what? Use your psychic abilities, to bilocate, to lucid dream, teleportation, telementation, dynamic healing, or to experience self as awareness outside of the body, and to become a conscious creator that is molding and shaping your consciousness into a reality of your own choosing. Through implosion in the heart, change becomes self-organizing. When it goes to center of the heart, which creates an implosion in the heart, which creates compression in the heart, which creates the acceleration, which is gravity, like going up in an elevator, right? Which centers your force, your prana, your chi, your kundalini, allowing you to direct your attention, allowing you to concentrate your will on all that you desire, which allows you to experience self as awareness, or what many may call enlightenment. The 0 point, which really means at a higher level, your state of awareness. That is consciousness simply mirroring your state as awareness. And in your awareness state, you have full access to the system of consciousness, which allows you to mold and shape consciousness into your own reality matrix. When you experience enlightenment or self as awareness, because enlightenment, again, is a construct within the system of consciousness, but I use it because so many people think it's so inaccessible. You are already enlightened. You're beyond enlightenment. Enlightenment is a concept within the system of consciousness. You are beyond any concept of enlightenment. But I use that because a lot of people feel comfortable with it, and I use it to play with you. Because many believe that it's such an elusive or far-fetched idea that they could never reach that enlightenment. You already are. You're beyond that which you're seeking. So when you experience self as awareness, then you experience the magnetism in the heart. When you experience the magnetism in the heart, you become the center of everything. Your DNA is speeding up, and you experience your eternal nature as awareness, allowing you to transcend the system of consciousness through the speed of light. Yes. So when you transcend your environment, you can experience your greatness. You're free to experience your greatness within this third dimensional construct, making you powerful, superhuman. That's the potential probability that awaits you. I thank you so much for tuning in. Again, check the links in the description, the article, and the 2 radio shows that I mentioned. Enjoy them. Enjoy life. Enjoy this time as we deconstruct consciousness. Talk to you soon.